I chose to talk about family and intimate relationships and how they affect you from day to day. You probably don't think that they play as an important role in your life as they actually do. They really help shape you into the person that you are today. Everyone has a story, and within that story, you will eventually talk about some or all of the relationships that you've had from childhood to your present time. These types of relationships affect you socially, academically, emotionally, and socially they affect you by, for example, if a child grows up in an abusive household, then that's all that they know. That's what they were grown up knowing, and that they think that that's how life is supposed to be. So this could cause them to not be able to make the correct social interactions with other people. They won't be able to make good connections with others because they're not really aware of how a relationship should actually be, how they should actually be socially towards other people. And young children are very sensitive to the different types of relationships within their household when they're young, because they're barely learning, and your parents are your first teachers. And academically, children are really dependent upon their parents because they obviously don't know a lot and they're just learning everything. So if you don't have a good relationship with your family or your household, your guardians, your parents, whoever is there for you, then you might not have that drive, or you might not have the necessary tools that you need to really succeed. For example, a kid who has no type of relationship with their parents just totally neglect them, totally abandon them, that kid might not succeed as well academically as a child whose parents are really pushing them, really there for them, constantly awarding them for all the goods that they do, and just really helping them. They're not going to be as well off as the kid whose parents help them. And without having parents who push them, the children aren't going to be able to reach their full potential. And emotionally, one's emotional stability really depends heavily on their past and present relationships. Growing up, if a child is in an unstable home, then they will strongly be at a disadvantage emotionally from that. A developing child needs those strong emotional bonds with their parents, guardians, family, whomever, but they need them. And if a child doesn't have those strong emotional bonds, then they're not going to be able to make those bonds with other people. They're not going to know how to do it. For example, talking about intimate relationships, if somebody is in an abusive intimate relationship, then it's going to wear them down. It's going to tear them down emotionally, day by day, mentally. And once they finally break out of that relationship, and then say later on they finally get into another relationship, it's going to take some time for them to adjust to that new relationship. Although they're not being emotionally or mentally abused, they still have that mindset. It's going to take time, but over time it will get better. So having somebody who's been in a negative relationship and placing them in some type of positive one, it's going to help them. Maybe not immediately, but over time it's going to help them, and it's going to be extremely beneficial for them. Everybody just needs some type of positive relationships in their life. And just to conclude, humans do need strong, positive relationships in their lives. It's very necessary for everyone, for every human being. Having those types of relationships really helps you mentally, and it really gives you a strong mentality, which mentality is a big key in succeeding, and having a strong mentality is just the first step for many things in life.